Welcome to The Adaptive Mind, where we talk with experts about practical, effective approaches to breaking habits and changing behavior. I'm your host, Brady Dowling. I'm glad you're listening. The Adaptive Mind is presented by Nurture, the #1 research-based app to help you break habits using self-compassion and science-backed methods. Find the link to install Nurture on iPhone or Android in the show notes. Thanks for joining this episode of The Adaptive Mind. Today we have Kaiwei Tang, who is one of the founders of Lightphone, which takes a really different approach to phones in general. I'm really excited to jump in, but Kai, thanks for joining.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So to go kind of back to the start of the Lightphone, maybe you can provide some color on kind of the experience with Google. You met Joe at a Google incubator, which I think was really geared toward like making sticky apps and apps that kind of get people hooked. When did you realize that you kind of wanted to go completely the opposite way?
Yeah. No, thank you. So Joe and I met in that incubator that Google started for designers. My background is in product design, user research, and product development. Joe at the time just graduated from his SVA's degree. But I think in the incubator, we just had a lot of opportunity talking to entrepreneurs and VCs, investors. It just, the more we spoke to them, the more we kind of realized there's this common thread about bragging about how much time, attention their product could get from their users, so that they could categorize each user precisely for advertiser. And that whole attention economy model is being utilized on every social media or Google product, and most of the app. I might say 99% of the app. Combining that with just simple observations is not the, serious observation. You just sit down the park, in the subway, train station, airport. You look up, 9 out of 10 people are swiping. And if you get closer, watch what they're doing, most of people are just swiping for no reason. Like TikTok, watch this now, and that's anywhere from 5 to 10 hours of our day. And you understand the business model. You've watched this up. You observe people using smartphone. You just kind of realize, of course, that's where we are with the business model being established, being so effective, being so efficient, that all the billion dollar company, Google, Facebook, TikTok, they're all utilizing the same model that to make them the biggest company in the world, right? And they hire the best scientists, best engineer, best designers. And I always argue that if attention economy is how you make money for your product, if you don't charge user for what you do, if you rely on advertisement to make money to sustain your operation, there's no way out. You have to maximize engagement. Otherwise, you can't sustain the operation. Right? I understand that logic. I get it. Right? At the same time, I just don't think it needs to be the only path forward with technology, or 99% of the tools are designed that way. Right? We wanted to create a brand, a product that design tools that empower us, so I could do things quickly. And when I finish the task, I want to go back to do things that make me happy. I want to go back to do things that make me feel fulfilled, right? When's the last time you or anyone else ever say, I spent 2 hours on TikTok, Instagram. Whew, I feel so good about myself. After that, I came out, I feel good. I feel proud. I'm going to tell my mom, I'm going to do it again because I feel so good. Like, no one ever say that. We always hate it. We always is like, oh, God damn, why can't I stop? right? And I argue it's not us anymore, right? In this era of social media and attention economy, is no longer you. The best scientists, best behavior scientists, best engineer, best designers that $1 billion company hire crafting the product. So it's enticing, it's interesting. There's not a moment that make you feel bored, right? You swipe like human. We are, you know this more than I do. We are vulnerable. We love quick dopamine hits. We love that. Like gambling, same thing. We just can't resist. And I will argue that those companies, social medias are attacking us with our vulnerability, designing product to do that, to attack, to make sure we are addicted to, well, I don't know if they want us to be addicted, right? But they need engagement to make money. That's fundamentally how they make money. And
Yeah.
this is not aligned with who I think, where I think I wanted to be. I just want to get a direction home. I just want to get a taxi home. I want to text somebody. I don't know. Why do you need to track me? Why do I have to
Yeah.
see your advertisement?
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I
uh,
mean, I think a lot of people feel that way and are kind of like starting to play with this idea of like what else is out there. Some people even play with like using a dumb phone. And if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the things that you did at the start of this journey. At the start, it was just an experiment. Can you talk a little bit about that?
yeah. We recruited like 20, 25, I can remember 10 years ago, people from our communities and give them flip phone, old school, Razor. I work on that back in the days. Give them flip phones and ask them to like, save 10 numbers for 5 hours, go out, leave your smartphone here, go out, enjoy the day. I don't know if I didn't know if they're gonna enjoy it. Just go out and see what happens on the weekend. And first of all, no one have more than 6 numbers they want to bring it with them, 6 or 7. Mom, dad, partners, maybe few restaurant they want to know numbers. Anyway, that's just some funny fact I remember. Anyway, we interview everyone when they come back, and like almost like not almost everyone expressed this feeling of free, or they will say that, oh, this is the best hours I have. I remember walking around talking to the strangers down the road and remember what he looks like, about the conversation. And some of the woman will be like, hey, I'm just like standing in the grocery store, trying to pay for my grocery, queuing up. I just stand there with no smartphone. I tap my pockets, nothing there. Out of habit, you tap it, it's nothing there. And then she realized, like, oh, hmm, I'll just I'll just do nothing. Yeah. Uh, so it's okay to do nothing. Hey, she's like, oh, almost like giving myself a permission to just exist. There's no other things you need to do. You don't need to know what happened on Twitter or social Instagram. Just standing there and maybe talk to whoever the person behind her and having a conversation. But it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I think that experience encourage us or help us make the decision that to move forward with the brand and the product. I think everyone is wanted to escape, and that experiment give them given the opportunity to escape from this constant distractions from your smartphone. And I see that as almost like crisis of humanity, our behavior with smartphone right now. And it's no wonder we all kind of feel like, you know, what can I do to stop, to actually break away? Like there are different reasons, right? Excuses or convenience that you can get away from. And I understand that. We always trying to say that I am not anti-technology. I think technology tools are great. It's not about not using technology tools. It's more about removing the attention economy components from the tools, right? If I use analogy, you always use analogy, like, you should treat your app like how you treat the tools in your toolbox, your hammer, your screwdriver, your scissor, right? Your rulers. If you're giving your toolbox to your kids, for example, you will walk through every tools. You will teach them what hammer is gonna do, right? The risk of using a knife, how you shouldn't be using this and that. You will walk through each tools and teach them how to use it and be aware of the risk or benefits, right? But when it comes to software or your smartphone app in your phone tools, like, we're just happy to give them the toolbox with millions and millions of tools with all the knowledge of humanity, good and bad things. Hey, 2 hours limit, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. A 2 hours limit. Do whatever the hell you wanted to do. No guideline, no educations. Just do that. But I mean, I still trying to get my head around why this is okay. I don't have kids, so, but how do I know? Uh, but at the same time, like, if you use a hammer, like, I know I have a hammer somewhere. I know I have that tool. When I need it, I'll get it out and do the things, and it's just out of the way. I don't think about my hammer. I don't swipe my hammers. It's just out of the way. But I know I have those things, right? So I want Lightphone. We want Lightphone to be the same way. Right? It's not about not using technology. I want to give you as many utility tools as possible. No advertisement, no data collecting. We don't sell advertisement. We don't collect your data, but I want to give you all the modern tools that we become used to in the modern era. So sorry, it's a long answer to your question. I'll shut up
Yeah, no,
now.
that's perfect. I mean, it leads right into like actual light phone usage. And of course, it's built to kind of break free of that attention economy and the dopamine loop and all of that kind of stuff that brings people in. Um, when switching to a light phone, it sounds like users have kind of an adjustment period switching to it. And you
Yeah.
mentioned like tapping your pocket, and I would imagine that kind of thing comes with it. But maybe you can talk about that adjustment period and anything in that.
Yeah, of course. I think the common thread from our user who started to switch into iPhone the first time, everyone experienced this fear of missing out. I think it's normal. You tap your pocket, you have this fountain notification, you don't know what to do, and everyone feel anxious. At the first time when you break away from your smartphone, it's logical because I see our smartphone behavior as addiction, right? When you break away from addiction, of course you're gonna feel horrible. Of course you're gonna feel anxious and stressed out. But I think the magic moment to us, especially for lifelong users, are once you get over your fear of missing out, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, depends on the people, everyone came to the realization that, oh, it's fine. Like, you have this relief, you have freedom that you feel like, oh, I'm free from the restriction or limitation, not limitation, but this nagging feeling from your smartphone and app. And you feel good, you feel free, you feel like your mind is clear. We do survey every year asking our customers how they feel when they use iPhone. Like, uh, what changed for you. And every year, the last 10 years, every year is the same thing. Less stressful, less anxious. They get more time back, or it's hours of time back every day. They become more productive. Some people think they become more creative. We have a gentleman told us that his heart rate reduced once they switched to iPhone. Better relationship with the family and friends. Some students told us they sleep better. They read more books. This is like such a no-brainer, in my opinion. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not asking everyone to give up technology or give up your smartphone. I'm trying to say we always know that with the, like we have different car designed for different purpose. And SUV that you could put stuff in the back, you carry things, a big bus, a mini car, city driving, your different jacket, different shoes, right? For different time and place. But when it comes to smartphone as a tool, for some reason, I mean, we know the reason, the business model, but the last 20 years, when it comes to phone, it just has to be smartphone. iPhone 10, iPhone 25, iPhone 54. Who cares? It's the same thing. App stores, Android, they all look the same anyway. Right? Walk into a carrier's stores, every smartphone look the same anyway. But like, why is that has to be the only way to go? Obviously, you could argue, hey, I'll buy a Nokia candy bar or a dumb phone, a flip phone. I'll do that. Like, that's cheap and great. If that helps you, please do that. I'm all for it. For us, light phone is just a version of a simplified smartphone. I still want to offer you all the modern tools. All the flip phone, it might still have browser and Facebook built in. It's not designed for 2025. Designed 20 years ago with 2G. No one's updating the software, and it's being available for 20 years. What changed? Nothing changed. It just get worse and worse. So we wanted to create a product that's designed specifically for this purpose. Has have the right amount of utility tools, which is another conversation because I love that conversation of what tool makes sense. Because your essential tools, your top five, it's not going to be my top five, and I want to understand it. I want to prioritize our. We've been doing that. But yeah, back to your question. Yes, we want to give people an option that if you hate your smartphone, if you want to take a break, even just like for the weekend or after 5 p.m., you can switch it back and forth if you want to. But we should have the options. We should have the modern options that has no attention economy built in. We all know how that makes us feel. Right. We all know that makes us feel horrible versus like if I spend 3 hours practicing piano, I came out of it. I feel good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I feel good about myself. I mean, I'd spend 3 hours practicing or like, you know, read a book for an hour. You feel good afterwards.
Right.
I think,
Yeah.
why don't we keep doing that versus we always feel horrible and we keep doing swiping social media for no reason other than making the company money.
Yeah. So to kind of zoom in on your design background, one of the design features of the light phone is the black and white. So kind of just the
Mm.
monochrome display.
Yeah.
Um, can you talk about that both from a design perspective and then also like from a behavioral perspective, what kind of implications that has?
Yeah, yeah. When we start design the iPhone 2 back in 2019, I really love eating display, the Kindle display that's black and white, that's calm, make you feel like you're reading a book, right? And for our purpose, we tool or app, we call them tool. Tools are designed to do single purpose. And we don't need all the bells and whistles. We don't need animation if we don't need to. If we don't need color, we don't need color if we don't need to, right? So e-ink to me makes so much sense for what we're trying to do. When you pick up your device or light phone, I want our user to feel calm. I don't want you to see this like glossy, highly reflective display. There's a reason why. Huge display, watching videos, playing games, like that makes sense. But for our purpose, I want you to look when you look at light phone. I don't want you to think about your YouTube or social media or anything else. I just want you to know you have this tool sitting in the background. My philosophy of technology tool is that they should stay in the background. They should be invisible if they can be invisible. And when I need to do something, please show up, do this thing for me, or help me do the thing quickly, and please go away, right? And just disappear. I don't want to see the glass. I don't want to see anything from my technology tool. You just stay in the background like a hammer sitting somewhere in my apartment. Now I know I have that, but like I don't want to see you. I don't want to see my
Yeah.
hammer.
Yeah.
You don't need to think. You don't need to like. My hammer doesn't need to think. Just I need to use that tool, do that things, and put it back and disappear. I think our phone should do the same thing for us. Just if I need a taxi home, give me a taxi home, and I text somebody. I'll do that quickly, and then I could go back to do things that make me happy, make my partner happy, make my family happy, right? Make me feel proud, make me feel like I'm human, right? I want to do more of those things, but not the swiping and the trick and bells and whistles that trying to maximize engagement. If I want to use social media, I'll get on a laptop. Maybe the social media, we as a company, we have social media account. We just don't pay them to do advertisement. We want to have different touch point and different platforms so we can answer questions. We could share what we've been up to. We could share news, right? But that's how we use it. Like email too. So much this my laptop is such a machine for me to do emails and social media and browsers, right? Why do I want to do it on a smartphone? I'm on my laptop 8 hours a day anyway. Right? So what's the point of bringing my computer with me 24/7, go to bed with it, hang out with my family and partner with it, eat my dinner with it, walk around with it? you know, I still, again, I still don't think this is human. We're just being forced into this because
Mhm.
of business model.
Yeah. So this as a tool seems like it could be particularly useful for teenagers, for youth. Do you see that happening? Do you see parents giving their kids light phones? And what's that experience like? Is there resistance?
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm the first one to say that light phone is not designed for kids. I did not design light phone for kids. Otherwise, this is light phone 3, the latest version of light phone. This will look very different if I'm designing light phone for kids. We design light phone for ourselves. I design light phone for myself. I'm not that special. I'm sure there's a billions of people feel the same way about social media and smartphone. So, that's our business model. But for kids, we do have a lot of parents and schools reached out about light phone for the kids use case. And I'm really happy for that. Like we don't say this is a kid's phone, but I'm happy to offer discount to be flexible for schools and kids to use light phone if they feel like it's beneficial for them and the family. We actually we did a collaboration with I think we're in conversation with 25, 30 schools in US right now for collaboration, and we just we are flexible for like public school that has no money. We'll give them refurbished phone as a rental. They could try to do that. Like some school has private funding, so they are able to buy light phone as a discount rate. We just did a research with Stanford college students, like hundred of them switched to light phone back in before and after analysis. So this whole category to us is a pleasant surprise because we didn't design phone for kids, but like the first school that's banned smartphone on campus for everyone that we know of. It's the school called Buxton up in Boston, we're in New York. So the school bans smartphone on campus. We supply light phone to every single kids and faculties and teachers. This is a couple of years ago. The head of school at the time, when they enabled a policy or announced the policy, there's a lot of pushback from kids and families, like parents, right? Kids are I didn't see it myself, but I've been told that kids are crying, like you cannot do this to us. What do I do without my smartphone? And the teacher told us that they were shocked because they didn't realize it's gonna be such a big. They know it's gonna be a big thing, but they didn't realize kids are using like language that drug addict was using. It's just like my life will be ruined, and like it's not. It's sad to see that, right? But at the same time, they once they push it forward. I participated in some of parents and school conference with them. Parents have different concerns, like you know um the son of school using app to track students when in this country, mass shooting happens. They want to know where the kids are, this and that. So that's a concern. There's other concerns like, they want the kids to have camera. So when something happened, for example, interaction with policemen or authority, right? You want to be able to record what happened, right? So that's a concern that I never thought about. Um, which is sort of why part of the reason why iPhone 3 actually has a point and shoot camera
Wow,
now.
amazing.
So you could take videos and photos. But like we walk through the concern with schools and parents, and they would push forward, and they are boarding schools, so it's easier for them to do that. And the first day when they do it, we start the whole policy. The head of schools called me and say that he was mind blown by how fast students or kids adapted to the new reality. No one's crying. They're just running around making new friends. They're just like inventing new games in the hallway. Like no teacher need to tell the kids to put the phone down anymore. There's no drama from social media, DMs. There's nothing on social media people are fighting about. And the whole vibe of the school changed overnight. Just because there's no smartphone on campus. And he was mind blown by the change and how fast the kids adapt to it. And we interviewed the kids afterwards too. Well, some of them is like, oh, I was like, I'm like 100% against the policy, before that. And then now it's like, oh, I'm surprised I could find my way around campus without a smartphone nearby town. I could find the USPS post office without my smartphone. I was like, oh, I'm kind of proud. And some kids are fully adapt to it. They're like, oh, I don't know if I want to go back to smartphone. So that's the experiment that give us a lot of insight for this category. And there's a lot of phone and device design for kids, and those might be a better option for parents in school really want to find a kid's phone. But for us, I don't want life phone to be a punishment. Selfishly, I want life phone to be this brand that's human. And well, maybe students were like, hey, this is a cool brand other than Apple and Samsung. I actually want it. We actually have a few parents that email us saying that his kids want a light phone. He doesn't understand why. Like he's ready to give them a Samsung smartphone, but his kids say, I want light phone. And I was like, yes, that's what I want.
Cool. Um, so you mentioned like big tech kind of pushing this attention economy, and then of course there's this digital minimalism movement that Lightphone is very much a part of. Where do you see the digital minimalism movement, to call it that and use that phrase? Where do you see that going in maybe the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think it's only human. The pushback of social media and smartphone getting bigger and bigger. I think it's only human that we fight to preserve human activities or things that make us happy. Right? I don't think it's human to spend 8 hours or 10 hours a day on the phone. And the minimalism movement is so part of this, right? Because it's people feel horrible. People understand the business model and they push back. And I think, the last 20 years or even 30 years, all the technology tools are being squeezed into this screen, this flat screen. Like Apple even made a commercial about pressing down all the guitar and pianos and all your painting sets into the new iPad. I don't know why they think that's okay. But I think the fight to preserve human activities that make us human, of course, that's what we are going to do. Of course, we will rise against the manipulation, the practice from social media and apps, right? So I do see either the minimalist movement or this human pushback continues, right? It doesn't mean people will give up technology. That's not what we're saying as well. We're not saying everyone should give up technology or even your smartphone. I'm
Hmm.
trying to say we should have options, right? So I think this in 20 years, when we look back this period of time, I think we'll be laughing. We'll be laughing at ourselves. Like, why do we do that? We still have blue sky. We haven't ruined it. We have trees. We have people we can talk to, right? And I think this is just a transition period, transition into a more advanced technology that would have the capability to stay in the background and do things when I need to, when human needs to, right? So I think this single purpose device without distraction, this category will continue, not just phones, the home product. Who needs a smart toothbrush? I don't need like why does it has to be a smart TV on every TV? Why does my smart speaker need to be smart? I think this will continue. Just create this category of single purpose technology tools that doesn't have any manipulation built in or attention economy built in.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, I think this will get bigger and bigger. The big company will start to realize, like iPhone 55 is not the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So for someone who's kind of bought in and is like, okay, I'm ready to be done with the attention economy, or maybe it is like dipping their toes in a little bit and it's like, I'm not quite ready for a light phone. What
Yeah,
would
of course.
be what would be like the one thing that you would recommend to that person, or you think like is a step that they could take?
Yeah, of course. I mean, again, like getting over addiction require like a step by step process for you to feel comfortable and actually stick to it. Right? And we actually made a whole booklet, a little book about how you break away, even without before you buy an iPhone. You could obviously everyone knows you could turn your screen black and white. You could delete your social media on your smartphone just to give it a try. You could leave your smartphone at home, just go out for like half hours. You will feel anxious. You will feel that like anxiety having no smartphone with you. You tap your pocket for no reason because what do I do? But that will subside. That will go away. You will forget about this the fear of missing out, and you would be surprised how easy that you adapt to the new reality. How easy it is for you to actually don't have a smartphone on you. And we have all the excuses in our head. Like, oh, what if I go to a restaurant, I have nothing to scan QR code especially in New York. I mean, I've been using iPhone for 10 years. I go to a restaurant, I don't have anything to scan, and the waiter comes in and goes, dude, I don't have a smartphone. Do you have a paper menu? 10 out of 10 times, I never run into the issue that they don't have a paper menu. And then it was, oh yeah, of course they bring a paper menu, and they will ask, why don't you have a smartphone? And we have this conversation about why, and the whole thing become a profound conversation of technology. And it's like such a pleasant experience too. Like I always had that experience without for that specific scenario. So we always have this idea wait, I need this and that, need this and that. It makes sense. Of course, you need to think about it. And you need to think about it like in terms of every tool. Again, emails. Like, yes, I understand you need emails sometimes, but I will argue, why do you need emails to wake up? To wake up with it, go to sleep with your email, eat your dinner with your family with emails, you know, go to toilet with your emails. Right. It shouldn't be that case. So I will encourage people that, like whoever that's not ready for life phone. Life is not for everyone. I get that. I'm not designing life phone for everyone. I'm trying to say this is an option that need to exist, not just a vintage 2G flip phone that no one use. Right? We need a modern device that has all the modern tools without the attention economy. So, if you're not ready to switch to iPhone, it's just simply turn your screen black and white, experience that, carve out a time and place that your technology tools, the distracting technology tool live in a different space. I think that's important. I had that realization in COVID lockdown as well. Like we actually get more user reached out during COVID lockdown because like we're all like in our house and like just swiping on the screen 24/7 with no break. And I think that's when, like I started to break apart. Like, here's my laptop living in this room. The other room is technology screen free, and there's a certain time and place that use different tools. I think that's a tactic that everyone could use right away. Like just carve out a place and time, being intentional about how you use your technology tools. Obviously, understand how business model, why social media are doing what they're doing, but you can intentionally use those tools for a specific time or a specific place to separate that, to create a separation. Yeah, the thing we always talk about is almost an inspiration for us to start a company is, back in the days, I don't know how old you are, but back in the days, you sit down your computers, you turn on your routers and make that noise, you get connected and you do your social media things, emails, and then when you finish, you get up, you move away, you're back to real life. It's a very clear separation of your online life and your real life. And I think reproducing that separation is healthy. It could be a starting point for anyone that's trying to do that. Just create that separation. We are not built to be online 24/7, or that's not the life we want to live. I don't want to be online 24/7. I don't want to. Otherwise, why do anything? Why go out at all? I just put on your goggles and plug in and live in a virtual world.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for all the work that you do and for keeping the conversation going and chatting with me today. Thank you so much, Kai.
No, of course. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Adaptive Mind, brought to you by Nurture, the research-based app for overcoming unwanted or addictive behaviors. I hope you found our conversation insightful and inspiring. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and continue bringing these learnings to people that need them. Remember that you have an adaptive mind that does incredible things every day, and it's capable of even more. We'll see you in the next episode.